This video explains the concept of staging, why it matters, and how a few easy detailing steps can transform this overlooked space into a convincing and visually rewarding part of your layout.
Hello and welcome to a video tutorial in which we will work with the staging tracks. This video is sponsored by Model Railroad Academy. Model Railroad Academy is an online resource where you can find ideas, information and inspiration for your model railroad. It's also a community of like-minded model railroad enthusiasts where you can learn various techniques which you can apply on your own layout. As a member of Model Railroad Academy, you gain access to their huge library of step-by-step detailed instruction videos. Whether you're a beginner or master modeler, their aim is to provide new methods, tips and information independent on what level you're at. The first 1,000 of you viewers who go to Model Railroad Academy get a premium membership for a full year at only $1.49. So get over to Model Railroad Academy and get signed up for a premium membership. Here we're going to start working on the staging tracks.
This is the staging area on my layout. I had to place it in front of the layout due to space restrictions, so it's thereby a bit more visible than what you typically would expect from a staging area. It's probably more common to have it in the room next door or somewhere hidden. So as you can see here, I've already added a back wall with illumination. The stone structure in the wall comes from 3D printed texture plates which I've designed, and I've uploaded them also here on mrrtutorials.com. So if you click on that, you end up on CG Trader, and there you have 4 type of stone walls and 2 type of ground stones. And I will be adding more to this set later. And this is what it looks like when it comes out of the printer. And on top of the wall I've added a fence and some detailing, but otherwise the area is mostly plywood. So what is the purpose really with these 2 tracks? Well, below the layout I have my storage for freight cars. The long distance freight trains going north and south both terminates on these 2 tracks. Having access to these 2 tracks allows me to add and remove cars ahead of the next cycle for these 2 trains. You can thereby easily change consist of the train for the next day. Another purpose of these 2 tracks, with something I missed a lot on my previous layouts, was a track separated from the main line so I can add and remove trains while the other trains are still running on the layout. This quickly becomes necessary as you buy more trains and the shadow station is already full, so then most of the trains will be stored in drawers. So I started out this work by adding ballast to the not yet covered areas in the beginning and end of the staging area. The glue I'm using is white glue, PVA-B, and the ballast is mineral-based ballast. Between the track and the wall, plus in between the tracks, I will fill the space with this. This is a floor underlay, which I've purchased at Hornbach. So if you don't find it anywhere, you'll find it there. It's a 2.2 millimeter thick styrofoam. It's very difficult to cut styrofoam this thin, so it's very useful to use these as well. So you just glue these in layers until you arrive to the right thickness. The desired thickness for the midsection measures to 6.8 millimeters. So we're going to do this in another way, or the other way. You can say this is a Proxon styrofoam cutter. It cuts with a hot wire. So I'm kind of setting this to 6.8, and then I make a test cut and it was too thick, so then I have to adjust this. It's not an exact science, so you just adjust it till you get to the thickness you want, and then it's just to cut slices from styrofoam. So this is the other way to go, but then you need a machine for it, and you also need to buy thick styrofoam. But with that done, I just angle cut the sides, which matches the roadbed from Woodland Scenic, and then I glue this in place in between the tracks like this. So then it's a one-step process instead, but requires a styrofoam cutter. Then on top I place this 2.2 millimeter thick floor underlay because it matches the height of the rails perfectly, so it rests kind of slightly recessed below the rail, which allows the train to pass, but it still looks like it's in the same level as the tracks. And on top of this I just paint with the concrete colored acrylic paint, and I do that in 2 layers, and then the paint which has landed on the rails can be removed with your thumbnail like this. So very easy, no sanding, no solvents, nothing, just your fingertips. Now we can start detailing, and the first thing I will add is the part from the service walkway set. This is a set which have the service walkways typically found in yards, but it also contains parts if you want to build a chemical loading or unloading facility. There are different versions of those. This is the more modern one. It's all included in this set. But I'm just using walkways here, and with the stairs on each side. Now you see that the stair on this side is a bit too long, so I'm cutting that to see if we end up with something that's in the right height. Yeah, perfect. Then I'll just go ahead and ballast the tracks which are in between these in this loading dock platform. So I just do it the standard way, knocking with a paintbrush and then vacuuming excess ballast which has landed on top of the ties, the sleepers, and also on top of the loading dock. And then I spray with this is actually ethanol, and then I use my eyedropper to fix the ballast using 50% glue, that's white glue, and 50% water. Then we'll add doors, loading bays to this stone wall. This will be published further on as a part of a loading bay set with a lot of different loading bay type doors from different eras. And then I add putty around the door like this, remove excess putty with a cotton swab, and later we'll finish this by painting it. Another way to marry all the objects in a scene is to weather it. So you weather the details into the environment. So here I'm adding kind of light brown pastel chalk powder on the walkway, and then I'm continuing using the same powder also down on the concrete loading dock. I use a sponge which I've cut to size for larger areas like the loading deck here with a range of different colors. With that done, I will spray the rail sides in a dark brown, corrosion brown color, and that will kind of marry the rails to the concrete. Lastly, placing some figures which are working with the crates and the pallets. I've added these figures just yesterday to this set with pallets and crates. So if you have already previously bought this set, you can just go in and download without an extra cost the figures and additional stuff which I've added. So here are the workers. These are also then of course 3D printed. Oil plate barrels and some more Euro pallets over here. And then I continue to weather in different objects into the environments. And lastly, here's the final result with the first freight train approaching the staging area.
Alright, so now my staging tracks are ready for traffic. And in parallel with that, I've been designing these figures. Now, back in the days we bought Pricer or NOC figures, but now I can design these in a CAD software, so it's they interact with the cargo and they're doing different poses, which kind of harmonizes with the 3D model sets they are included in. So the figures I added to my staging area here now is uploaded in the set pallets and crates. So if you bought pallets and crate, let's say 2 years ago, then you can just go up and download a new version including the figures without an extra cost. And that goes for all of the 3D model sets. So there are constantly new updates being uploaded as I modify, or I would say improve the design. And this is especially valid for, I would say, the freight cars, where there's a lot of development going on both in resins and printers. So then I'm following that and updating the cars accordingly. So before you start, say 3D printing something from a set you bought back in the days, go up on CD Trader, check if there's a new version out, because that version will most likely contribute to both the printing result, but also to detailing and all the other stuff. Alright, I hope you have some good takeaways from this video about staging tracks. Thank you very much for watching. Please support the channel. Get over to Patreon, set up a support account there for $1, $2, $4, $20 per month, or make a one-off donation using the PayPal dialog found in the video description below. In the video description below, you also find links to both Model Railroad Academy and MRR Tutorials, the main catalog for 3D models for HO scale, which can be printed at home. So thank you very much for watching, and if you're not yet a subscriber, subscribe, enable that little notification bell, and you will get a notification once next video gets published. Until that happens, see you.